Yo, what's going on, Nomads and Drifting Podcast listeners? Welcome to Backspace Nomads. Every week we talk about gaming, discuss game releases, and have gamers on to share their personal gaming stories. You can find us on BackspaceNomads.com or on social media on our Twitter at Backspace Nomads. This is episode 33 of the podcast. I'm Brian, and of course, joining me here is Monica. Hello, Monica. How are you?
Hello. This is Monica. How are you?
I guess I'm good. I don't know what's going on right now.
I'm practicing ASMR.
What is ASMR?
I am trying to increase the scent of our listeners.
What? What is... What?
How much scent do you feel right now?
This is the most zen
How much scent do you feel right now?
I just want like a rock star to come in and like, do you feel zen? What are you doing?
I'm trying to increase everyone's zen. If you would just let me, you're ruining it.
I'm sorry.
Whispering.
I'm ruining the mood.
ASMR is Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, a term used for an experience characterized by a static-like or tingling sensation on the skin that's produced by different sounds. I'm trying to titillate.
I don't feel titillated. You might be really bad at ASMR, but I appreciate the effort. I am now. Why did they throw the word meridian in there? Is it just to sound smart?
I don't know. Probably. That's what I do when I want to sound smart.
Yeah. Was ASR taken as an acronym, so they felt like they needed another letter? What have you been up to, man?
Well, just a lot of living the adult lifestyle. Ooh. But I will admit that I picked up one of the games we talked about last week and have been playing it, Niche.
Oh, how is that?
Okay, so I was really excited, as you know, because as a 4-H child,
yes,
I just thought that this game was going to speak to me. And the very first time I played it, I found it a little bit challenging. I'm like, okay, I've got something to learn here. I'm a little rusty.
Sure.
But kind of as expected, I just became a pro pretty fast. I was like, impossible for me to die. And then I started realizing that this game is fairly simple in concept. Once I understood how to like kill the predators and certain things like that, I didn't find it challenging anymore. Mm-hmm. And then the only thing I was trying to go after was just I was trying to find like really funky combinations and trying to like create something really unique.
Sure.
And I wasn't really having fun with that because no matter what I did, all my animals looked perfect.
Can you just stop with how good you are at 4-H? Your animals did not look perfect. There's no way.
I actually really did have like this weird thing where you can meet these derpy animals and breed with them, and they kind of screw up the look. And I kept breeding with them, and like sometimes the babies would come out weird, but most of the time they came out normal. So I don't know, whatever genetic code I created, it was like taking out the dirt from the creatures.
Derp is recessive.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I played over 10 hours of it, but I also was just like, what is next here? Like, I may pick it up again in the future, but I don't know. I was a little disappointed just because I did find it becoming repetitive. The only thing I will say about it is that it is for sure, you just get lost playing it and like time passes by. So I would start playing it at night, like after I was in bed. I'd play it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's 2 hours later. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's way past my bedtime. So that part of it's nice, just to zone out, which is what I've been needing with my adult life, you know?
Sure.
I've been needing a little bit of an escape. So I don't know. I think I recommend it, but I think you definitely need to be comfortable with a not too complicated strategy game.
Right. Is it goal oriented, or is it just like puts you into the world and like, here you go?
The the world, the goal is to just create creatures that can survive somewhat continuously challenging environments. So there are worlds and stuff that are more complicated than others. It's fun, but you're not really like the first time won't lie. The first time I bred 2 of my pristine specimens
Shut the fuck up.
and created an albino and got the achievement for it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I liked that, that made me feel good about myself in my life. And
you enjoy the albinos.
Yeah, I did. But then, like 10 minutes later, I was like, okay, the rush of breeding this albino has gone away, and now I am just left in my own misery.
Sure, just you need some ASMRs in your life to make you feel better.
Yeah.
This week, dude, I've been nerding out so much. Are you a Star Trek fan, like the actual TV shows and stuff?
I mean, I used to watch them when I was a kid with my parents, but that's about as far as it goes for me, man.
I don't mean to get too nerdy.
You can get nerdy.
Okay, I'll get really nerdy. This new Star Trek show on CBS is the best thing I've seen on TV in a long, long time. It was fantastic. They released this thing's like on CBS for the first episode, and then the rest of it's going to be on like their Netflix service called like CBS All Access. I already subscribed to CBS All Access because I watch Big Brother like an old housewife. So I've been watching Star Trek on there.
Do you drink wine when you watch it?
I do. I drink a nice red.
Yeah. Little foot bath.
Nice foot bath. I tell the kids to be quiet. I throw an empty wine bottle at the door. I get into it. I get into character. It makes me feel good.
Yeah. Good.
I was shocked that they got this thing this good on TV. It looks like a movie. Every episode so far, I'm like 2 episodes in. It looks like an absolute movie. There's massive like space battles between like Klingons and the Federation. I haven't nerded out to a TV show like this. I guess this is like Game of Thrones, but now Game of Thrones is like cool to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like anyone who's on the fence about picking up CBS All Access to watch this thing, you just do it. I guess internationally too, it's being released for free on Netflix, so just like fuck us because we're Americans. So that's been my like nerd for the week, other than gaming.
And anyone that goes and gets that CBS whatever that you just said, type in code save with Brian.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything for you, but if enough people type it in, maybe they'll reach out to us. They'll be like, what's this code everyone's trying to use?
Yeah,
and they'll find us, and we could be sponsored by CBS.
Yeah, we gotta use like code Nomads or something. We gotta be on brand,
Oh yeah. Backspace Nomads sent me here promo code. Okay.
Just promo code backspacenomads.com. They'll get it. They'll know what's going on.
That's not the promo code though. It's Backspace Nomads is my favorite podcast, and they sent me here. All one word.
Good Lord. I can't even remember that, and I'm sitting across from you here. Other than that, I've been playing Fortnite, which is one of the funnest BRs I've played in a long, long time. And I don't want to get too in depth because we're going to be covering it later and talking about it. But wow, that is You're
just a little fanboy.
I'm just a little fanboy. I don't know how to control myself. I don't know how much thought they put into the beats of like what they're doing. But there's something about that game that works so well. It makes you come back to it like so much, and they put the fun back in it for me, and that's hard to do because I'm a jaded, 30-year-old gamer now.
Yeah,
and
you're over the hill, the gaming hill.
When you check out Fortnite, just use promo code Backspace Nomads is my favorite podcast. I already forgot the rest of it, but check that out.
Backspace Nomads is my favorite podcast, and they sent me here. Promo code.
Yes. Thank God you're the one who decides this stuff for us. All right.
That's flawless.
All right, let's get into the good, the bad, and the indie.
Let's do it.
Woo! The Good, the Bad, the Indie is where we look through all the new releases in gaming and bring you our opinion on what games you should play, the ones you should avoid, and the indie games that you need to keep on your radar. For this episode, we are looking at September 24th through the 30th.
Yes.
Monica, what's your good for the week?
My good is one that makes me very excited when I hear the music. It's called Ruiner. It is published by Devolver Digital, developed by Riken Games. Riken Games, probably. Riken. It is a top-down shooter, cyberpunk, indie, sci-fi action game. It just looks so badass.
It really does.
The characters, the music. It's a brutal action shooter set in the year 2091 in the cyber metropolis Ringkok. Ringkok. Okay. A wired psychopath lashes out against the corrupt system to uncover the truth and retrieve his kidnapped brother under the guidance of his secretive hacker friend. Combine pre-natural reflexes, augmented tools, and an arsenal of fallen foes to tear down and dismantle the corporate titans of virtually dealers at heaven.
What?
Who doesn't want to play this? You're an idiot if you don't. It really does. You gotta go check it out. Just visually, it looks really stunning. I thought the music seemed on point. It seems really exciting. It almost has this Borderlands feel to like these gritty characters.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of punching the air right now because I'm like, gritty characters, Borderlands feel.
You're not kind of punching the air. You're kicking the shit out of it right now.
I like that a lot in my games. It's a $19 or $20 game basically. And that seems like very fairly priced for this. Pretty stoked about it.
It looks amazing, like just hands down. This kind of the concept for it in terms of the gameplay reminds me of Enter the Gungeon, which is a fantastic game. And this is done with more realistic graphics set in the cyberpunk. I almost picked this for my good. It was so close to being there for me. And you are absolutely right in picking this for your good. This game looks fantastic.
Thanks.
I love I love the main character on their like the main graphic for the game. This dude's wearing this like Daft Punk helmet, and it's just scrolling "kill you." It's scrolling up his mask. It just looks gnarly.
Yeah, and his helmet will say different things like "kill boss," like you know, like murder, whatever. It's really rad. I don't know. It looks so exciting, and just like the shooting and the explosions and stuff looks so exciting. It looks unique. I really think it looks unique. Dude,
the lighting system in this game is incredible.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like the future. Hopefully it's one we get to live in. I'd be a ruiner. I don't know if that's what they're called, but I'm on board for that. My good for this week would be Total Warhammer 2 on the PC from Creative Assembly, published by Sega for $59.99. I'm a big Warhammer nerd in general. When I was a young lad being bucked into the world, I used to paint models for Warhammer and play like the armies and stuff.
So cute.
I was pretty adorable. I'd be sitting in my basement, putting my armies together, giving them their color schemes and stuff. So Total Warhammer 1 came out 2 years ago, I think it was, and that was a blast for me. Back then I used to stream a lot, and I put so many hours in that. The community I built was largely built on Total Warhammer. So seeing this one come out as a number 2, I was a little concerned because it was so soon. And it really felt like a DLC upgrade for me until I actually started like listening to the developer commentary on what they were putting out. This is just a complete upgrade. Everything about this game is running smoother. It's prettier. All the systems in the game are working better. From all the reviews I'm reading from actual players, like not on the
stunning,
it's like gorgeous. All the player reviews on Steam are just talking about how much more satisfying the unit movements are. Winning battles feel better. They took everything from the first one and just like brought more greatness to it. There's new races. They're more in depth with the units that they're using. I used to be a lizardman back when I used to paint models. That was my race. I loved the lizardman because I was just a young kid who was into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You can play as a lizardman now, and you
Oh.
can ride motherfucking dinosaurs in this game for your
Oh,
units. So
that's awesome.
I can't remember the last time I bought a $60 game, but this one is getting picked up by me, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna play this one massively.
I wonder if my brother's gonna play this. He wanted to be renamed Dino when he was 5 years old, so I feel like you guys might have something in common.
I would love to play with Dino. We should just call him that. That's a radical nickname to have in life.
I think one of the things we have to point out here too is just like it has been really well received, not just by the community, but by like any professional game reviewer. So kind of has to be on the list. This is a huge release.
I think on their main graphic, all you see is like 9 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 10 out of 10s. Like they just throw it at you.
Yeah.
Everyone's in love with this game.
They're like, we're the fucking bomb diggity.
And they know it. They're showboating all over us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the bad. What are you hitting me with?
All right. So I'm introducing a little early access into the good, the bad, and the indie this week. It's weird because this is a game that I feel like I would actually enjoy playing. It's called The Guild 3. It is developed by Golem Labs. It is a simulation economy, open world multiplayer strategy game set in a medieval environment. Guild 3 is a fascinating trade and life simulation that takes place during the late Middle Ages. Step into the shoes of a citizen, acquire businesses and mansions, produce goods and trade them, start intrigues in politics, society, love, hate, bribe, fight, and live through the good and bad times. I want to say that sounds like exactly the type of game I would pick up because I can escape my real life. I can just live the good and the bad times in another universe where I'm not actually impacted. But
you know this is your bad for the week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But
this sounds amazing.
This game doesn't do all of that yet.
What?
They've been in development for a few years now. They just came out early access, and a lot of the elements to this game are like being reported as totally missing, broken. I mean, a lot of early access games in general, don't come out perfect.
Sure.
But at this point, I think the frustration here lies in the fact that they've been around for a while. They announced this game a few years back, and the expectation should be that it's much further along than it currently is. And I'm sorry, I get that it's early access, but that early access tag doesn't mean that you can just totally shit on the people that have purchased your game. It's currently listed as $29.99. This might actually end up being a game that is interesting, but early access for $29.99? Like, are you out of your mind? I think that used to be a Taco Bell commercial, but I'm bringing it back. $29.99? Are you out of your mind?
I'm excited for that saying.
Yeah, I am not feeling what Golem Labs is trying to do here. I'm not feeling, I'm feeling sympathy for the community that has purchased this game. And, it seems like I said, up my alley, but I'm tired of these shenanigans. So I'm calling them out and I'm listing them as my bad for the week.
And you know what? Just as like a side point, you don't get to do this bad of early access when you're on your third game. Yeah. This is the Guild 3. Like, you had 1 and 2 to figure out what you're doing, motherfuckers. All right, my bad for the week would be Helltown on Steam. Helltown was released September 27th onto the PC by Wild Art, published and developed by them, for a price point of $9.99. In Helltown, you play as a postman who has to deliver packages to the residents of a brand new residential community called Littlevale. However, when all hell breaks loose, you'll have to run away and hide from insidious monsters while trying to unravel the truth behind it all. In order to do so, you'll talk to the townspeople and explore the game's many locations. Will you be able to escape, or will you be just another lost soul trapped in Helltown? Snooze fest, dudes. Like, who do you think you're writing to? This has to be some high schooler in between college student who thinks they're too cool for the room. This is just a adventure walking simulator I'm sorry, not jump scare. They bring that up. A scary game, and I can't get my head around it. This game's $10, and it looks like it was released in 2002. The graphics are horrendous. They're pixelated. And let me get into this list of things that this game does not include, because they are saying this with pride. No generic Unity or Unreal Store assets. Cool. Maybe you should have bought some, because your game looks like a turd. I don't see why people think buying stuff off of the Unreal Store or the Unity Store is a bad thing. You're an indie developer. Sometimes you need a farm workout, and if it's good work and you know how to put it together, that's your job, is to make it all look good. It's not to put out these horrible looking games. They have faces here that look flat. It's all one polygon on the face. Like, it's 2017. Number 2, no cheap jump scares. Describe cheap, because apparently there's jump scares in this game, but they're a little pricey. You're gonna have to pay $10 to get a jump scare in this game. And then their last point is laughable grammar, and that's why I think they're too cool for the room. This is the person on Reddit who, when you say there, they correct you with the right apostrophe and version of there. Nobody cares that you're using fantastic graphics in your video game, my friends. Skip Helltown. Like, it is awful. Don't even give them a chance. If they think they're this cool, they should just live in their own little world.
I don't even think that was a passionate rant. And I loved it. I don't really have much to add on that one. That was great. All
right, let's get into your indie for the week.
It's so ridiculous.
Fuck them, man. Fuck them.
All right, so my indie for the week is a game that would make me shit my pants. It is called Home Sweet Home. It is a survival horror game, my most hated of genres, but I have put it in my indie as my indie because it is basically piggybacking off. I love horror films and petrified of horror games. And some of the horror films that I love the most are like Japanese horror,
sure,
or like God, what was the one with the videotape? The girl comes out of a
Saw.
No, never mind.
Oh, The Ring.
The Ring, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of fell into that idea. Anyway, Home Sweet Home is a first-person horror adventure game based on Thai myths and beliefs. I love that. Like, I love the cultural aspect to this.
Yeah.
The core gameplay focuses on storytelling and stealth to avoid perilous spirits hunting you. Moreover, a few puzzles are added into the game, making gameplay more various. This game is $16.99. It looks like, as far as survival horrors go, up there. It has this creep element, this creepy element to it, where you're seeing people down a long hallway, where you're seeing shadows move behind like walls. It just has this like horrifying vibe. And like I said, I think when films are oftentimes based off of lore, or even video games in this case are based off lore, they have a much higher chance of reaching their audience, because lore doesn't stick around for no goddamn reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that this is one. I will not be picking this up because, like I said, it would I've cried playing horror games before. I'm a big wussy.
Yeah. That's all right though. It's cool.
Yeah, thanks. But for those that love the genre and can mentally handle it, I recommend this heavily. I think you guys should check it out.
What I'm really loving about the screenshots from this game that I'm looking at is that these rooms inside of a video game, I don't want to walk down these hallways. Like they look creepy. The lighting in them is done so well. Like the shadows are in all the wrong places. And I'm getting anxious looking at the hallways and the rooms like, this isn't for me.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it just makes me a little nervous. Like I can tell when I look at a game if I'm already, and granted, like I said, I am a big wuss, but if I'm looking at still shots and I'm thinking, oh, creepy, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
get that way just because it's dark or dirty. I get that way
Mm-hmm.
because it looks unique. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it
Yep.
looks like I'd be going to into an area that I'm uncomfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
and this is for sure that.
And all the writing on the signs are in like Thai, so you have no idea what you're going into. Like, is this going to be a safe place?
Yeah.
Like, great idea to use them or that culture as the setting. So my indie for the week would be Dwarf Corp. Dwarf Corp was released from Completely Fair Games for $19.99. I'm sorry, on the PC. It's on sale right now, so if you're listening to this podcast, it might still be on sale. I'm not sure, but they took 30% off for you.
Nice.
This game, I guess me and you were in the same place mentally because not only am I bringing an early access game to the good, the bad, and the indie, I'm also bringing a slightly medieval city building fantasy game into
That's
it.
okay. This
Yeah,
one's not your bad though. We didn't both poop on him.
it's not. And this has kind of an interesting history. This was a Kickstarter game from 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Once the game was kickstarted and in development, shortly thereafter, the developer released something. He had personal issues going on in his life that were affecting the development of the game. A huge uproar inside of the community saying he was in breach of the Kickstarter contract or whatever you do for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally released this into early access just a few days ago. And I'm loving this game. This game, like, let's describe what he's talking about with it just to get you guys there. Dwarf Corp is a procedurally generated open source fantasy real time strategy game in which you lead a colony of ruthless capitalist dwarfs to discover new lands and exploit them for profit! Exclamation point. Dig deep into the earth to discover rare gems and ores, send them back to your motherland in a balloon or ship, defend your colony with walls, traps, and mercenaries, promote your employees for their good work, or give them a slap if they get sloppy. Meet elves, goblins, mole men, demons, and more. Design your company logo, color scheme, and watch your company grow.
This definitely has almost a little bit of like a Minecraft vibe, but not in that 3D. Well, actually, parts of this, it's really unique. How would you even
Yes.
describe the visuals or like the art style of this?
So this game, it is a low poly game, right? All the land and the terrain is absolutely just like Minecraft.
Yeah.
All the blocks in it are voxel based. If everyone knows
But
what
the art
Minecraft
is
is,
2D. So the
right?
2D art like moving across
Mm-hmm.
this. Yeah. Okay.
So kind of like Minecraft, all the textures are pixel based, right? But then he takes sprites like you would see in old school RPG games or SNES
Yeah.
games, and he puts them into this 3D world. It's a very cool style. I've been playing this game a little bit. This is actually one that I picked up, and I enjoy it. I do. It's You can tell it's early access. There's bugs here and there. Some of the systems are kind of confusing to use at first. But being in this Minecraft world, and I played Minecraft like everyone else to no end.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of controlling someone in a first person, you control this in like a third person view, and you're controlling these units kind of like an RTS. Uh, and that's something that I didn't know I want, and until I saw this game and picked it up, I absolutely wanted it in my life.
Yeah.
It's very fun. I'm having a blast on our YouTube channel, Backspace Nomads. I put up like the first 15 minutes of this gameplay. If you want to go check it out, I am loving this game. After this podcast, I'm probably just gonna go back on and play some more Dwarf Corps.
Nice.
Give him some leeway because it is early access and there are bugs. He's very honest and open with people. But this is an indie game that should be fantastic. Like when you see like a big like balloon, hot air balloon flying in for people to come talk with you to trade with you, and then you see the nerdy elves come in to trade with you. It's fun. It's a fun fantasy like city builder simulation.
Do you have confidence since this guy's background with Kickstarter that you think that even though it's early access, do you think he'll work through it?
I do. He has released games before.
Okay.
I do think that he was just going through life things, and you know, had he not done a Kickstarter, he probably would have still put this game out at this point.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
I'm sure some people are going to carry some animosity, so I'm just was curious as to what you thought about it.
Sure, it is nerve-wracking, you know, you don't know what you're going to get in terms of people's commitment, you're right. But he put this out to the public. He had confidence in what he made. And
and you're loving it, so he's got at least one person.
I'd put a ring on it. It'd be, it's like when you meet a girl, like there's that TV show where you meet someone and you marry them like 3 months later. That's Dwarf Corpse.
Wow. What a beautiful story.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah.
All right, that's the good, the bad, and the indie. Give me a quick recap of what you had going on.
All right, so my good is Ruiner, developed by Raccoon, whatever, games. 1999, it is a top-down shooter with incredible art style and in a cyberpunk sci-fi world. 1999, that's my good. For my bad, we are looking at an early access game that is nowhere near complete. It is called The Guild 3. It has all of the elements as far as idea goes for it to be an interesting game in the future, but right now I don't think you should pick it up. It is currently $29.99, a little pricey for an early access that is not complete. You should have no access
to that game.
And it's a simulation game where you are trading, falling in love, working your way through society. That's the Guild 3. And then for my bad, I had my indie. I had Home Sweet Home. I didn't say the developer for this. It's like Drazzle Group. Drazzle Group.
It's like Brazil when you're drunk.
Yeah. If you're really drunk, Grazzle. It's a survival horror game. Looks super interesting. It's $16.99. Just like got that total creepy vibe to it. And if you have big cojones, you should go pick it up.
What is this?
Those
cojones.
Are just big giant ball cajon, like
just holding cojones. Balls in your hand, rocking it back and forth.
Big cojones, like big, like I'm thinking like a bull. You know?
Okay. Yeah. Like on the back of like a redneck semi truck. Those cojones.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, my good, the bad, the indie. The good would have to be Total Warhammer 2 if you're a fan of the Total Warfare series in general. Or Warhammer, you just have to pick this game up. They've done everything right to create a sequel from the first one, and it's a game that if you're into any kind of simulation or fighting, you can't miss it. You have to be there for this one. My bad for the week would have to be Helltown, released on the PC from Wild Art for $9.99. Helltown is just a shitstorm of a survival horror game that shouldn't have been made. These people think they're too good for the genre and for everyone else in this community as gamers. And I feel very offended by what they brought to us and their attitude while they did it. My indie for the week would be Dwarf Corp from Completely Fair Games, released $9.99 out of the PC. It is a city simulator. Capitalist dwarfs take over the land, and you have to see if you're better than anyone else in there. You should pick this game up. I'm having a blast playing it right now, and I think everyone should at least give it a try. It's a little bit pricey on the $19.99, aside for the early access, but I think it's worth it. The developer seems like he's back into gear, getting this game made, developed, and you should give it a try. And that's the good, the bad, and the indie. So
let's just jump back right into your obsession with Fortnite.
Not just my obsession with Fortnite, but apparently Bluehole, the creator of PUBG, obsession with Fortnite. Let's talk about PUBG versus Fortnite. Let me give a little context for you guys real quick. Earlier in the week, Bluehole released a press release expressing their concerns that Fortnite may be replicating their experience for which PUBG is known. Later, they went on to clarify that it is because they licensed the engine from Epic Games for Unreal, and that Epic is kind of just taking their concept and using what they've done and implementing it into their own Battle Royale experience.
They're stealing.
I think that's a good enough context to get this thing going.
Sure. How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about it?
You love Fortnite. I
do love Fortnite.
No matter what happens, it's like, I know you just said you were going to put a ring on another game, but I feel like at this point you could be almost like believe in polygamy, because I feel like you'd put a ring on Fortnite too. I feel like you're kind of spreading yourself thin with all of these rings you put on games.
It is. Maybe I won't put a ring on it. Maybe I'll buy it a nice necklace. Maybe Fortnite's my mistress. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
I don't know. I think Bluehole as a whole. God damn. I'm sorry, everyone. That wasn't intentional. I think that they're being kind of disingenuous about their concerns. I think on like face value to me, it looks like they're mad that Fortnite is taking the spotlight right now, and that they're giving a battle royale experience and filling a void in that playstyle that a lot of people are responding to. And then they're taking this idea that they license the engine from Epic Games and trying to make a statement because of that. And I say this because of their first press release that was saying they were just copying the PUBG playstyle, and then later they went on to clarify it in a second release that it's because they licensed the game.
So what do you think about Fortnite actually mentioning PUBG in advertising, which is, I think, what kind of kickstarted this open and hostility? Who knows what was flying around behind the scenes, but
I don't think that it's the first time it's ever happened in gaming. I don't think it's the first time to happen in entertainment. I think people do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if you like this, you're going to love this. That's like an old movie thing from the 80s, you know? If you love like this Grindhouse movie, you're going to love this.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to lock your name down in advertising. Just because they mention your game, you don't have to ask permission for someone to mention your game.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah, I think so as far as just like, Battle Royale as a whole, that can't be owned by one group. That doesn't exist. You can't have one top-down shooter and one Battle Royale and one, that's not gonna happen. And so as far as like the sympathy that I would feel for PUBG with Fortnite creating their own Battle Royale, that doesn't really exist there for me. What I do think is interesting, though, is the fact that PUBG really does license Unreal 4, owned by Epic, and or Bluehole does, and I feel like that adds this additional complexity that kind of makes me wonder what those agreements look like. I'm sure they're pretty standard. There's nothing really exciting or juicy there. But, if you are paying a company and to license something, and then they are, copying you and competing with you almost around the same time, I don't know how you wouldn't, just on an emotional level, working for, Bluehole, how you wouldn't look at that and be like, fuck you guys. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you. You couldn't even wait. Like, for us to get out on consoles, you couldn't even wait. Like, we pay you a shit ton of money, and you couldn't even fucking wait. Like, I could feel that, like, animosity vibe. And I could see that totally being, like, around within their offices, just, like, having dartboards with Fortnite on them, or, like, toilets where, like, you have, like, the CEO of Epic's face, like, painted into the toilet so you can pee on them or whatever.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. But what I do feel is a little weird is I feel like they made themselves vulnerable by actually like letting out whatever animosity they have internally come out. Specifically, they said that there might be further action taken. And I just don't understand how the legal cost could be worth it in this case, because I don't see how they have an actual case against Fortnite.
not only that, I think that Epic Games has a defamation lawsuit that could be ready to go to put back on them. All the negative press that they're throwing out about Epic Games, for Epic Games just being a business and doing business things.
Yeah.
People, when you license an engine, you don't own the company that you license it from.
Mm-hmm.
They have every right to go develop a game inside of their engine. And they have, here's a quote from the article, this is from PC Gamers, that Bluehole has concerns that they're going to develop new features and improve something inside of the engine to support the Battle Royale gameplay and then use it in their own game mode. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do that? And why doesn't Bluehole have the same opportunity to go take the engine and develop their own systems outside of Epic, what Epic has access to improve it? Epic Games is a better developer than Bluehole. Surface level. Bluehole isn't an indie game developer. They're starting out. They don't have the, Epic Games has a streamline. They have the people in place. They've been doing this for a long time. They know how to make great engines that support a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that they're just mad about this. I think they're mad that Fortnite is giving people a better experience in the Battle Royale arena than PUBG, because PUBG right now is riddled with problems when it comes to server lag, snapping, everything that they're complaining about that Fortnite is doing well. They have problems with it, and they have the same engine that Fortnite does.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this came out of just that, like, exasperated, we're almost there. We've been working on this, and now Fortnite's kind of coming in. And I mean, they already have 1 million people using or playing the game, signed up to play the game. And, it has to be somewhat, this is the first game created by Bluehole, right? So,
yes,
like, you've created this element, this really intriguing game that is being replicated in some ways, and then seeing your competition come in and kind of crush it, and that's got to be infuriating. But I still feel like there is a place for both games to exist, because in reality, PUBG just does seem way more tactical, and like even just what's the word I'm looking for? Atmospheric, in the sense that, like, I know in PUBG you can hear where the gunfire is coming from, and like that you'll react to that. Where Fortnite's missing a lot of those, those like fine-tuned elements. So I still think that PUBG provides for a very specific audience, and Fortnite provides for another. And I feel like a lot of people will play both. Like, if you love this genre, you're gonna want to be able to spice it up a little bit. You might not want to change your genre. It's like telling your wife, like, hey, tonight you're gonna go ahead and, like, let's just role play. I'm gonna be a hen and you're gonna be a rooster, and it's like, whoa, we're getting funky, like, let's glue some feathers on us and get it on. And
what is going on in that
I'm just
bedroom
talking.
of yours,
I'm just talking.
Okay, you're just
I'm just explaining.
You're just a 4-H girl.
I'm just a little 4-H girl. You can't stop this. But
what the fuck?
But my point here is that, like, even though you're covered in feathers and you're fucking like a chicken, you are still with your wife. You know what I mean? And so, like, even if you're married,
I don't know what you mean. I don't have a wife, and I don't like to fuck like a rooster.
Even if you're married to PUBG, you can still get a little spicy with Fortnite. Or if you're married to Fortnite, you get a little spicy with PUBG. That's all I'm trying to say. Point made. Point made.
You're still in the hen house.
You're still, yeah, exactly.
I don't know where to go with that, dude. This is episode 33 of Backspace Nomads, backspacenomads.com. We'll see you guys next episode. The fuck?
Actually, that might as well just be our closer. I guess, we've both said what we needed to say about this. I hope they can play nice in the future. And like I said, I think that there's a spot for both of them. Totally understand the rearing, like, frustration, but like, let's keep it under wraps, because you don't want to put yourself out there and just.
How long were you sitting on that analogy?
Literally, I just came up with it right now.
Oh my god!
This is just how my brain works. That was not a pre-planned thing.
All right. That's impressive. Yeah. Bluehole are a bunch of assholes. In this article, they are. In this article, they're saying it's not about Epic taking the idea of Battle Royale. And then literally the 2 paragraphs later, they're talking about how H1Z1 licensed out the idea from Brendan. They have a problem that Epic didn't license it out from Brendan, the guy who had the idea of Battle Royale.
Okay, fair enough.
Which he didn't come up with, which came from a Japanese movie. So It's not like he's some genius.
Got it.
He's not a rooster. He's a hen.
Okay.
Or a cuck.
Jesus.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for episode 33. We'll see you back here next week for episode 34. Make sure to check out our website, backspacenomads.com, or find us on social media at Backspace Nomads on our Twitter.
Yeah.
See you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.